Welcome to the latest episode of the Podiatry Business Podcast with myself, Lorcan O'Donnell. And whether you listen to this online or you're watching me on YouTube, it's great to have you. So this episode is called "Why Are So Many Clinic Owners Struggling?" So if you're a clinic owner and you're listening to this, it's because you're not happy with your business and maybe with its effect on your life as it is right now. Now, you may not be unhappy as such, but you know things are not quite right. You know things aren't really where you wanted them to be when you started the business. Commonly, it's I'm working too hard, I'm tied to the business, yeah, I'm making some money, but I feel like I'm having to do everything, and it's I can't take a holiday because everything depends on me, etc. If I take a holiday, I've lost income, etc., etc. And the thing is, I know you're listening to this on your own, but you are not the only one. Many, indeed, the vast majority of clinic owners out there are struggling in their own way. Now, when I say struggling, some are struggling financially, some are struggling mentally, some are burnt out, some can't see a way to make a change, some feel trapped, but they're struggling in their own way. And it all comes down to, ultimately, it comes down to the way you've built your business. And if you've built your business in a way that's trapped you and is not giving you the financial freedom that you'd like without you having to trade time for hours, time for money, well then you're going to find that you're trapped in some way. And that is unfortunately the case for the vast majority of clinic owners, that they are struggling in their own way. Many are struggling financially. But it does not need to be that way. So clients of mine in my coaching group who join my program and I have two main capacities, or two main abilities, and are doubling their profits inside 12 months. And those two main abilities is firstly that they have an open mind, that they come along and say, look, I'm open-minded, what I've been doing isn't working, and I know I need to make a change, and I can see what's happening with this group in here. People are making a change. So they're open-minded. Not everybody's open-minded. And then secondly, those who, and they have to be willing to engage with the support that's there. So those who have open-minded and engaged in support are doubling their profits. So it does not have to be a case where the business has to struggle. Now, the sad truth is that most clinic owners listening to this will continue to struggle well after they've listened to this. They will not make any changes to their business. And I kind of want to answer why. I want you to kind of self-reflect on what I'm talking about. So I'm going to talk about basically 5 points on why this is happening with clinic owners that I see. So firstly is mindset. You do need to have an open mind to change, because what got you where you are now is great, right? You probably built up a business, you probably filled your own diary and so on, but what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to the next level. And what will happen is many clinic owners are struggling, don't have an open mind to making a change. They're afraid to step outside of the pack. So they do what everyone else is doing, but everyone else is struggling too, and therefore they continue to struggle. And I think they're afraid of change in a lot of cases. And I don't mean any of this in a disparaging way, but they're afraid of change. Because what if I make a change and it doesn't work? Well, aren't you going to be in the same place you are right now? But sometimes they're also afraid, what if it does work? What if I actually end up building a business that's successful and I actually have to become a business person as opposed to a podiatrist or a clinic owner? Because it changes who I am, maybe. And they're often afraid of that. And that's okay. I understand all that. But mindset is the key, and it is the main number one. It's why I've talked about it number one. It is the main difference between those who succeed and those who don't, those who continue to struggle. The second thing is that those who struggle don't treat their business as an actual business. They try to squeeze in being in business around being a podiatrist or a clinic owner or a clinician, I should say. So they come on and they speak to me and say, look, I never really wanted to be a business person. I just want to treat patients. And then like, well, why did you open a clinic? Why did you open your own business? Because when you open your own business, you're a business person. But because they don't treat it as a business, it doesn't work as a business. Instead, what it works at is a job. Some cases a well-paid job, but in many cases a badly paid job. Or if you work at the hourly rate for the number of hours that you actually spend working on the business treating patients or whatever, you divide it by actually how much money they make. They probably make more money if they were treating patients in someone else's clinic. And they don't put any investment into their business CPD. They'll put a lot of money into investment into clinical CPD. And I've done that. And you should have great quality clinical work, and you've got to continue to work on your CPD from a clinical perspective. But if you don't put any time and effort into your business CPD, well, then all the clinic CPD is pointless, because nobody's going to know about you, and you're not going to be able to run a well-run business, and therefore not help as many patients as you could do. Third thing is, they simply don't know their numbers. This still astounds me. So when I speak to clinic owners and we talk about maybe working together, what I'd ask them is, how much did they turn over last month? They haven't got a clue how much they even brought in last month. Instead, they tell me, if I ask them profit, it's like, I've asked them the worst possible thing. I don't know what profit I am. I profit whatever profit my accountant told me. So they're flying totally blind. And when you fly blind, you're inevitably going to crash. So an example of this is wages. And I see a number of clinics out there, and what they do is they can't recruit. They can't recruit because they're not treating their business as a business. So they panic. So what they do is they offer huge wages. And when I see these wages, I know instantly that this clinic owner couldn't possibly know their numbers, because they couldn't possibly be able to pay that wage and still be making money. And inevitably what they end up doing is they end up running a business that just is essentially there to provide their staff with a well-paid job. But they're not making any more money. And what was the point? So because they don't know their numbers. They have no idea of their break-even. Never mind knowing what their profit and loss is. So you need to know your profit and losses every month. I know what my profit and loss is every single month. They have no idea of the lifetime value of a patient. And if they don't know the lifetime value of a patient, or even how to figure that out, then how are they going to know how much they can afford to spend on marketing to achieve and acquire that patient? So for example, if you have a lifetime value of a patient and that patient's lifetime value is £1,000, how much are you willing to spend to get £1,000 patient? But if you have no idea if it's £1,000 or £50, you have no way of making that decision. And one of the big ones I see is pricing strategy. So what they do is they start in the wrong direction. They think, well, I better set up a price. So what I'll do is I'll ring around and I'll see what everyone else is doing, and I'll make sure I'm somewhere in the middle, because I don't want to be the cheapest, but I don't want to be the most expensive. I don't want to be the most expensive because people might give out to me. They won't. But they end up with pricing strategy. Whereas what I encourage my clients to do is to work the other way around. How much profit do you want to make? How many hours do you want to work? Divide one by the other. That tells you how much you need to make per hour. Okay, now what's your profit percentage? Then you need to know how much you need to turn over. We go from there. That's where your pricing should come from. Because if you have a patient coming into you, for example, and you're charging £40, it's very different to charging £60 for the same patient. Significantly different. So because you don't know your numbers, you don't know your break even, you can't come up with a proper pricing strategy. So one of the reasons that clinic owners significantly struggle is they simply don't know their numbers, or they think they do, or they don't know enough, or they know the wrong numbers. Fourth thing is they have no marketing really worth talking about. They dabble in marketing. They might have a pretty website that looks really nice, but it's pretty ineffective, because what your website should be doing is it should be making you money 24/7. It should be booking in patients. It should be getting the contact details of people who aren't ready to book, but go into your funnels, and should be all done automatically. Now, this is one of the things that we do for clients. We provide podiatry and physio and chiropractic websites that do exactly that. They're the hardest working staff member that you'll ever have, and they work 24/7, never take a day off. So most people don't have a website like that. They have a nice looking website that doesn't make them money. My website made me 50 grand last year. 50 grand without me doing anything to it once I built it. They dabble in paid advertising, and then they lose money. And because they lose money, they stop, because they don't really know what they're doing. They don't have a proper strategy, and they just ask someone else to abdicate it to someone else to do it. And this person doesn't know what they're doing because they never ran a clinic, and it doesn't work. And the consequence of all of this, not doing marketing properly, is that they are dependent on others for a new patient flow. I'm talking about word of mouth marketing. Word of mouth marketing is great. I talk about this all the time. It's great, and you can systemize it. But if you don't have a marketing system that is predictable it doesn't allow you to grow your business. You end up with an unpredictable flow of patients, and you end up dipping, or in a lot of cases you just plateau. So your business will grow to a certain level. Firstly, it's usually in the first 2 years you grow fairly fast. You can, any idiot can fill their book on their own. Let's be honest. In the next first year, 18 months, it's not that hard. But to go beyond that, you need some proper marketing, and because they don't have it, what they end up with is they end up with a plateau, and then if a seasonality will come along. So maybe if there's a heat wave, nobody wants to come to see you, or if it's Christmas, nobody wants to come to see you. So your business will drop. So that is part of not having a proper marketing system in place, and your business will struggle. And then the fifth and final thing is that clinic owners who struggle simply don't take the action that they need to take, that they know they need to take. Look, in my coaching program, I've made it as easy as I can. I've made it dummy proof. So a number of years ago, myself and my team, we had a chat. We said, okay, how can we make sure that every client who comes along succeeds? And we looked at who was our worst ever client. Our worst ever, now I'm not going to tell you the name, the X principal, we call it. Patients and our client's name in this. This client didn't do anything we told him to do, etc., didn't listen, etc. So we wanted to say, well, how can we try and make sure that somebody like that comes along, they can't fail. All they have to do is literally just do what we tell them. Here, go over there, do that, it'll work. So we've made it as simple as we can, step by step by step by step. Just do the next thing, just do the next thing, just do the next thing. But what happens is all of my clients need to be open-minded, and they need to have a mindset that is like that. And then they need to know that they just need to do one other thing, and that is they just need to do the next right thing, we call it. So the next right thing is, when you're trying to build a business from where you are to where you want to be, there's a set number of steps and plan that you should follow. And we show the clients the plan and the steps, etc. But it can become overwhelming if you try to do them all together. So what we do instead is we then teach them how to just do the next thing, how to pick what to do next, what's going to move the needle for you next. And then that's it. We call that the next right thing. However, what happens with many clinic owners is they never take that next step. Now, I'm not talking about clients of mine, okay? But I'm just saying in general with people who struggle is they know what they need to do next, okay? But they never take that next step. They never take the step they need to make change. They might go on courses. They might listen to podcasts like mine, which is great. They might get somebody to come along and do a new website or an ad or whatever. But they themselves don't ever take that next step. Maybe even what they do is they ring up a coach like me or a mentor. They might even join, but they never do the work. Okay? An analogy would be, I'd tell you, is if a patient coming along to you with a chronic problem, and let's say it's an MSK problem, and you give them advice and you tell them you need to do this home exercise program, and they come in week after week after week and they don't actually do the exercises, and then they start to complain, I'm not getting any better and I'm coming here this number of weeks, etc., etc. And you're in your head going, because you're just not doing what I fucking told you to do. It's not that hard. I know exactly how to get you better. I know how to get you back running, etc. You just need to do it. And that is the same thing when it comes to clinic owners. Many clinic owners, unfortunately, know what they need to do, but they never actually take any action. They never make a change. They go around and around and around the change, but they never actually say, okay, let's just get on with this. So there you have it. There's why clinic owners are struggling. 1, mindset. 2, they don't treat their business as an actual business. 3, they simply don't know their numbers and can't make any decisions. 4, they don't have any marketing really that's effective. We're talking about they've dabbled in a bit of marketing. And 5, they simply don't take any action. They don't take that next step. So the power of change is there. It's tangible and it's yours to change your business. It is it is there and ready for you to change your business, whether you work with us or you work with anyone else or whatever. But it is possible. If you're listening to this and your business is struggling, it is absolutely possible to change your business and to make it whatever it is you decide you want it to be. So take that step, take that next decision. Stop thinking about it and get on with it and start making your life and your business a greater success for you. Get yourself financial freedom. So until next time, this is Laura O'Donnell, health business mentor, podiatrist and clinic owner, signing out.